Grab that coffee. We're getting ready to do this morning thing. I waited a little bit on the LaFleur today. Here's the LaFleur to you 8 folks that are here before the show starts. Dun, 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 dun. But dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Shut up, dumbass. Welcome one, welcome all, ladies and gentlemen, to the Lion Villain Report. I am your host, Russell Wayne, and we are broadcasting live right now into our Facebook page, which has 53,000 followers. Thank you to everybody that's liking, subscribing, and sharing this content right now. 53,000 broadcasting live into that. Thank you to Stephen Michael for making that awesome graphic right there. We're broadcasting live into the Lions Villain Squad YouTube page right here. And thank you for everybody that does that. Thank you to Joe Chap and the boys over there at Detroit Lions News Podcast for supporting our podcast and his 77,000 Lion fans that are ready for this Arizona game right here. And it's faith, family, and then football on this program. It is important that we keep it in that order. We use football to create memories and to spend time with our family. We don't let football use us. This show is brought to you by NFL Shop. We are affiliate marketing partners with NFL Shop. You use that QR code right there. You can go get one of them snazzy Jahmyr Gibbs jerseys right there. And we are also brought to you by my awesome wife's Facebook page. We are an advocate for autism awareness, and we have a 5-year-old autistic son, and she loves to be able to share resources for parents that have children with autism, and that's awesome. And we are using our Facebook stars for that purpose. We didn't have a good purpose for the Facebook stars, but now we do. So anybody that donates to Facebook stars, we're going to go and have these resources for the parents, for the children with autism. So thank you for everybody for joining the show today. And today we are going to do a little segment today called Know Thy Enemy. And it's something that we're bringing back. It's almost like right here. Let's go say hello to everybody right here. Good morning, Davey. I think that you're the only one watching today. So, know thy enemy. We're going to dive into what the Arizona Cardinals did. little audio problem right there. Thank you very much for being patient with me today. All right. So let's dive into what Arizona had done from before. So Arizona, in their first game, they went up against the Buffalo Bills. And the Buffalo Bills, as you can see, the Buffalo Bills were able to move the ball on them to 352 total yards, 222 passing yards, 130 rushing yards. They were able to average 6.1 yards per carry in that game, 23 first downs, and they were able to get a victory over the Cardinals. And the Cardinals had 270 yards in total offense. And looking at the individual stats right there, Kyler Murray was 21 for 31 for 162 yards and one touchdown. And he added 5 for 57 on the ground. James Conner averaged 3.1 yards a carry. And that was the Marvin Harrison Jr. was held to one catch in that game. But it really seemed like in the second game that they started putting it together. So let's go look at that game right there. And they walloped the Los Angeles Rams in this game. Stafford was 19 for 27 for 216 yards. And he didn't throw any interceptions, but Blake Corum actually had his first carries in that game right there. Kyron Williams, 2.1 yards a carry. They were able to really stuff the run and really anything that the Rams were trying to do. And Kyler Murray played out of his mind in this game. 17 of 21, incredibly efficient. And he was able to rush for 59 yards as well. And James Conner had himself a day. 21 carries, 122 yards, 5.8 yards a carry. And they were able to do this against some might say it's a depleted Rams defense. As far as, who they had out in that game. And they got a lot of young players on that team too. So the Rams are going through some stuff, but that's not an excuse. That's not an excuse because the Arizona Cardinals are a good team. I didn't even play my video for you guys yet. Here you go. Know thy enemy. So that's the name of the segment. That's going to be our Saturday thing. We're going to be doing Know Thy Enemy. And it might be moved to a different day, but at least one time a week, we got to take a deep dive and know what we're going up against in these Arizona Cardinals. So, yeah, you got Kyler Murray. Now, this tells a story to me when you're looking at these two games. Because you got the one game, the one that they won, they were able to move the ball on the ground. And that's something that I don't think that they're going to be able to do against the Lions. I don't think James Conner is going to have himself a day. I think his day is going to look a little bit more like this day, where when they went up against the Buffalo Bills, James Conner, 16 carries for 50 yards, 3.1 yards a carry right there. And then you had Kyler Murray adding some stuff on the ground. So I think that you more got to make sure you got to contain this running quarterback, but I'm not worried about them being able to get some kind of balanced attack against these Detroit Lions, because we're stout on the run. I expect DJ Reader to even be more of a factor this week as he's working back from that quad injury and surgery. Because even though it's fully healed, it still would take some time before you want to, go 50 snaps or try to play him so much right there. Let's say hello to Dewey Hills up in the house. Brian Stover's up in the house. Joseph says, nope, not me too. Joseph up in the house. Dale's in the house. Good morning, Elise. Good morning to the villains. Good morning to Paul Jones. And if you just got here and you didn't get to see my fancy little video I made right here, this is for the segment that we're doing today, and here it is. Know thy enemy. Yes. Know thy enemy. That's what we're doing today. We're making sure that we know thy enemy. And you got an Arizona team that's pretty good. They had a good showing in this game versus the Rams, a depleted Rams team right here. I think the Lions have an opportunity when I'm looking at these two games. They have a tremendous opportunity because one thing that is for sure when you're looking at both of these games on the other side of the ball, you're able to move the ball on the ground against these guys. The rushing attack can be for real. I mean, James Cook was able to move the ball against them. Ray Davis had 3 carries for 13 yards in that game. And then when you look at the Rams and their player stats, well, they weren't able to move the ball as much on the ground, but there is an advantage right there to where our offensive line is a lot better than, the Rams' depleted offensive line. They had no Jonah Jackson. I mean, they're completely decimated on the front of their line. And so they weren't really able to get much of anything going on that. But you can get pressure on Kyler Murray. You can contain him and keep him in that box. Aiden Hutchinson coming off a 4.5 sack game. Levi Onwuzurike coming on in his 3rd year. DJ Reader coming in there. Aleem McNeil. They got to contain these wide receivers, but, outside of a big play. And here's the thing. Terrion Arnold's got to work on his hands, but the kid can tackle. Like when we were looking at PFF, I love Terrion Arnold from the point where he's going to take his bumps and bruises. You can have they're going to go after these cornerbacks. These are the least experienced guys that are on our defense, and it's trial by fire. Get them out there. Get them out there. You want to get those defensive backs out there. And you look at these Cardinals, you got a real guy right there, Marvin Harrison Jr., 4 catches for 130 yards, 32 and a half yards per catch. This guy is a big play waiting to happen. He's a big play waiting to happen. They got Trey McBride. Trey McBride is an up-and-coming tight end. If you play fantasy football, he was probably one of the first tight ends that were drafted, after the big boys went out there. And Sam Laporta, where art thou? Where art thou, Sam Laporta? My fantasy football team needs you. Sam Laporta. Who do you expect a big game out of this week? While we're taking a look at these Arizona Cardinals, I think that we're going to be able to run the ball on these guys. I think the Lions need to get back to the nitty-gritty. The grit. We need to get back to the grit. Run the football. Take control with your offensive line. That's the most. That's the most. I mean, I think that's the strongest point of the team. That's what you want to look for. The core of the team, the strength of the team. I'm looking for a better game from our offensive linemen in this game. I know that PFF isn't the end all be all, but by Penei Sewell standards, he did not have a good game. Taylor Decker had a pretty good game, but the interior of the offensive line in this last game did not play well. And I look for them to bounce back. This team is not what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on the defensive line. The offensive line should be able to eat in this game. I'm not taking anything away from the Arizona defense. Not taking anything away from the defense, but you shut down a wounded team. That team was wounded when they played us. And they left Detroit and they were even more wounded, especially on offense. You can't expect Stafford to do anything. It kind of reminded me of when the Lions would have an injury, when Calvin Johnson would miss games, and then, you'd have, sometimes you would have some, Golden Tate had a couple good games in Calvin Johnson's absence. But for the most part, when we suffered a couple injuries, we looked a lot like the Rams do now. Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp out, a couple offensive linemen. Man, it's like Detroit all over again, isn't it? Old Detroit, Matt Patricia Detroit. I mean, that's too bad. We got a bunch of young, promising guys. Well, too bad. It's the NFL. When you have that many injuries, that's part of the game. That's part of the game. But these Arizona Cardinals, a lot of people will call this a trap game. You got to go all the way out west. You got to deal with a quarterback resurgence. I mean, he played a perfect game against the Rams. I guess he was the first. That was the first quarterback in history or something like that to throw for three touchdowns and rush for 50 yards and have a perfect quarterback rating. 17 for 21, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions against the Rams. Kyler Murray. That's incredibly efficient. That's very efficient. You gotta contain that. You got to contain this guy. He had 60 yards rushing pretty much in both games. He's a threat on the ground, incredibly athletic. He's a guy that can break the game open for you. He's a guy that you can actually play disciplined football and he can still beat you. So this is a dangerous team. Paul Jones says, I'm upset with you, Russ. Why do we have a group if my posts don't get posts? That's the same page, just some extra steps. With some extra steps. I love you, brother. I don't know why wouldn't your posts? I don't know why your posts wouldn't get posted. Yeah, there's some things that will automatically. You didn't put any swear words in there. There is absolutely no reason why your stuff shouldn't get posted. That's okay. We'll figure that out for sure. Okay, Paul? Don't be upset with me, because I definitely wouldn't have not posted your stuff in there. I mean, I guess there's a possibility that the admins haven't got a chance to get in there to approve all the posts, because we had to do post approval in there, because I mean, it's so hard to keep up with the scam artists that keep on trying to like sell tickets and whatnot. Let me see, pending posts. Yeah, I see 0 in there. I don't know. I have no idea, Paul. I don't know why it wouldn't. It says to me from my end that everything's posted. Member reported content. No, that wasn't you. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on Detroit Lions main event, brother, that wouldn't have let you in. Are you sure you went to the right group? Let me throw the group into the comments for everybody. But no, Paul, that is that is definitely not what we're trying to do right there. You know, we want everybody to be able to post into the group. I have no idea why they wouldn't let you do it. But like I said, but you can't put swear words on there. I mean, we try to limit that. So I don't know if you did that or whatever, but I apologize for that. Anyway, getting back into it for everybody that just showed up right here. This is the Lion Villain Report. You can join me every morning at 10 a.m. This show brought to you by NFL Shop. We are affiliate marketing partners right there. You can use our QR code and save up to 25%, depending on whatever NFL Shop is doing. And thank you right there. But let's put a special thanks out to Stephen Michael McMania, brother. That's right, brother. And the queen of memes, Elise Memes, right there. We're a team. We're a team of supervillains, and we do put content out there. And we're not a corporate entity, you know, like some of the other Facebook groups and pages that are out there. You know, it's just Michael, myself, and we have some of our supervillains that are creating content for this page, but we're just fans. We're fans of the Lions, and we have a certain way that we like to fan. I like the villain mentality. I think that it adds to the culture of who we are and what we believe that the villain stands for. The villain isn't a bad guy. We're not trying to be bad. That's not what villain is. You know, the villain is a mentality. The villain is, it's like you're the bad guy to anybody that you beat, and you want to be the villain in that situation. We definitely want to be the villain going into Arizona. I'm telling you, you want to be the villain. There's going to be a whole bunch of happy Arizona people, and they're all happy that Kyler Murray's running around and he's all good. And we want to mess that up. We want to spoil that. Hit that like button if you want to spoil Kyler Murray's hopes and his dreams tomorrow. When it hits 425, hit that like button if you want the rest of his day to be hard. If you want him to run into a big dose of reality. Hit that like button if you've been a Lion fan for more than 20 years. I think that these Lions can do something special this year. And I mean, you look at that last game I mean, I'm not making any excuses, but they outplayed Tampa Bay and lost that game. They left a game out there that they should have won. They played better in every way. They just couldn't get it done in the red zone. Get it done in the red zone. Finish the drives. Mike and I are sitting at that game. It was so exciting in between the 20s. Jared Goff looks like Tom Brady in between the 20s. And then he gets up to the red zone and Tampa Bay just says, no. 1 for 7. That's not going to happen again. I mean, that's skewed off of bad. 3 for 7 is bad. Can't go 1 for 7 in the red zone and expect to win. And they almost won. They had 2 chances to win that game at the end. They couldn't get it done in the red zone. So I look at this Arizona team. I look at their wins. You know, they lost to the Buffalo Bills, who I believe is a shell of the team that they were, but you never know. I mean, I don't know. The Buffalo Bills, they may surprise the people. They may surprise some people in there because I just don't see them that they have it. So that's a impressive win when you look at it, but it's kind of or an impressive loss, I guess, not an impressive win. But Arizona blowing out the Rams. I mean, when you see blood in the water, you got to take advantage of it, and that's what they did. They went in there and put the boots to them. But when you look at the stats of those games, and when you look at where they could get those yards, I mean, you gotta look out for Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, that's a guy that could blow your game up for you. Marvin Harrison Jr. could blow this game up. And I don't want to see that happen. Bye, guys. Bye, everybody. That's my wife. My wife is going over and having a play date with my son. So that's a good time for me to say something nice about her right there. So if you want to support my wife's page, she's an advocate for autism awareness. And that's her page and her QR code right there. And I'm sorry if there's any misspellings or anything like that. Sorry. I'm not as smart, but our Facebook star purpose, like we were trying to look for, I've never really promoted Facebook stars, but all of the Facebook stars money is going to go to support my wife's page because she's out there. I mean, she's doing this right now. So anytime she finds autism awareness stuff, anything that can help a parent that has a child with special needs, she shares it onto her page. And I think that that's really cool. So anybody that donates stars to this page, I'm going to make sure that she has support for her page because, you know, I don't want it like that. So yeah, if you want to support Ashton's autism awareness page, then you can just comment with a star, and all 100% of that is going to go to support that. So we appreciate you. We appreciate you for doing that. Bye, babe. So what are we going to say? Oh, that's right, brother. What you going to do, Mean Gene? Let me tell you something, Mean Gene. With me and all my Hulkamaniacs out there, me and Dan Campbell, we're going to take a plane ride out to Arizona, brother. I'm going to do the backstroke in the hotel pool, brother, with me and my 24-inch pythons. What you going to do? when the Detroit Lions run wild on you. I'm expecting a big game, just like Hulkster said. I'm expecting a big game out of the run game. I think that's where the Lions have a distinct advantage over the Arizona Cardinals. Everything else is kind of a wash. I think that we got answers everywhere else. I think we're going to be able to get a pass rush. I think they're going to make Kyler Murray uncomfortable. I think that they're going to be able to hold James Conner to where he'll be mortal. I don't think that he's going to have a whole bunch of yards rushing. So those things are, I'm expecting Marvin Harrison Jr. to make plays and to maybe even score some points against us. But I expect our offense and our offensive line to control the entire game. And I'm talking being able to move people out of the way. Frank Ragnow and Graham Glasgow had maybe the worst games of their career in the last game. I expect both of them to bounce back in a big way and be able to move people out of the way in the run game. And Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery, I expect to have nice games, both of them, balanced in between both of them. They should be able to control the clock and be able to control this game through the run game. I think that the big play is going to be opened up. I think Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra, you can open up the play action in this game. So I expect a big play. That's another thing I want to see out of the offense. They've been getting to the red zone and they've been stalling. Just to say Jared Goff has been bad that's a lazy take because he's been bad in the red zone. But the entire team has been bad in the red zone. It seems like they can move the ball in between the 20s and they can't finish the drives. And I do believe that has to do with a lot of the offensive line. The offensive line hasn't had a great 2 weeks. They were decent in the week before, especially when you add on what they did in overtime. It was almost like the offensive line got woke up in that Rams game for just the overtime period, and they just pop, 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 pop. And they played like the offensive line that we're used to seeing. But that's where the advantage is. The Lions should be able to control the line of scrimmage on the offensive side of the ball. They should be able to keep Jared Goff clean. And we all know what happens when Jared Goff is clean and he's able to operate and run the offense. It's not going to end well for the Arizona Cardinals. But if they don't keep him clean, you're not putting Goff in the position to be the most successful. Because when he's clean, his processing and decision making is elite. When he's not clean, that stat line drops dramatically. Like if you have elite processing and elite awareness, and that you have that when you have the clean pocket, let's just say that's at a 92 out of 100, and I think it is that high. A 92 out of 100, I'll give that to Jared Goff when he has a clean pocket and he's able to see the field. But when he's pressured, especially in the middle of the defense, that number drops to the 60s, 50s. That's not his strength. You can't have middle pressure and expect Goff to succeed. That's just, he's never succeeded in that. Now, where he does succeed is when they send blitzes and they leave gaps, and the offensive line is able to read it and give him time to process it. He eats blitzes for breakfast when they get picked up, when the offensive line does its job. But that's why you invested over $100 million in it, okay? That's why you can have a processor. They make the offense work around Goff. That's what they've done. Elise says, I love the villain mentality. Bring on the Cardinals. I love it. Smash that like button. Smash that like button. Like from the Macho Man Randy Savage style. I'm going to give you a Macho Man Randy Savage. I want to see how many people we can get to like this video that they're watching right now. So that's when the, ooh, yeah, the Macho Man Randy Savage says, climb up to the top rope, and with the Macho Man elbow, I want you to drop that elbow right in the heart of the like button. Yeah, that's what the Macho Man would do right there. Yeah, dig it. There we go. I gave you the Macho Man. We got to have somebody out there that heard that and can appreciate that. Or I'll just use Christopher Walken and says, you're talking to my guy all wrong. You're talking about my team. And my Jared Goff he's my friend. And you're talking to my guy all wrong. It's the wrong tone. You do it again, and I'll stab you in the face with a soldering iron. Mama says I'm that the Lions are like a choo-choo train. You'll see. Running downhill. Woo 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 woo. You guys ready? Are you ready? Who's scared out there? There's a little bit of me on the inside where it's like, I remember some of these games of old going out to the West Coast. And it's not the West Coast. It's out West. It's the West Coast to me. That's like the coast to me. No, going out to Arizona pre-Dan Campbell playing against Arizona has been scary. I mean, we gotten our butts beat a couple times out there. And I don't like that. Right there. Big M says, Hutch, defensive player of the year. Are we expecting a big game out of Hutchinson? Big M. Let's set the over-under. Do you think that Hutchinson will have over-under 1.5 sacks? Let's do that. 2 or more sacks. Or is it one or less sacks? Over-under. The over and under is set at 1.5. How many sacks? Is this a multiple sack game again for Hutchinson? Because honestly, I don't want to see Hutchinson have multiple sacks. I want to see him have 1 sack, and I want to see the entire defensive line have 5 sacks. I want to see the rest of the line benefit from that Aleem McNeil, DJ Reader push. Because Aiden Hutchinson in that last game, he needs the one-on-one. He needs these other people. You know, it's one last year they were able to just key in on Hutchinson. We didn't really have another guy that could step up and play. You know, we needed somebody else that can get pressure on the quarterback. And isn't it funny? It's coming from the most unlikely spot. Like out of all the talks that we had, like Levi Onwuzurike wasn't one of the guys that a lot of people were talking about as the guy that could be providing the additional pass rush. It was Davenport. You know, we want to see Davenport, but we weren't really thinking that Levi was going to provide that. But if you remember Levi, when he was coming out of Washington, that was why they drafted him in the second round. Actually, they were thinking about going up into the first round because he had that undersized Aaron Donald comp, right? But he could never get on the field. He had a back problem, and it just kind of lingered, right? He had an average first season where he kind of got out there in 2021, but he was dealing with that back problem, and then he had surgery on it, and then the surgery failed, and then he had another surgery on it, and then came in. I mean, he missed most of 2022, and then he comes in 2023, and it was almost like they were surprised that he could even not retire, that he made it through the whole thing. And he had a decent season. He just didn't play a lot. I think he graded out a 69 overall last year on PFF. I think he played about $150 on snaps for the whole season. But during this offseason, he went and the back was able to handle the surgery. So it's been a full year. He had a full offseason, put on 15 pounds of muscle. And now he looks like the player that we finally looks like the player that we drafted in the second round in 2021. Now, the only bad thing is the dude's going to ball out and he's going to go out and get a bag this year based off of 1 year production. So Levi has been the biggest surprise. He's been a great surprise. But he's playing for a new contract. But yeah, they all are. From that guy, Aleem's playing for a new contract, and Levi. So I don't know if they can keep both of these guys. So here we go. I mean, this is your audition. Here's Levi, and he's already got. I don't know what his actual sack total would be, but I know that he was in on 2 sacks this year. And one of the sacks that Aiden Hutchinson got in the last game was directly related to what Levi was doing. And that's just the main thing, right? With Aiden Hutchinson sacks. Look at Davey. 3 sacks. Davey says 3 sacks. Big M says 2 sacks. So we got the over. We're getting in these overs right there. Davenport with 2 sacks. Davey's got it. 3 sacks for Hutchinson, and then Davenport having 2. That would be something else. But what you got is where last year you're able to double team Hutchinson with a chip, in a sense, triple teaming for most of the season, to DJ Reader demands a double team, guys. He did in yesterday's game or last week's game. Aleem McNeil's the same way. So when you get both of these guys out there, Hutchinson's going to get more one-on-one looks than he ever has. I mean, even dating back into Michigan. I mean, in Michigan, he had a running mate that last year. Ojigbo. I can't remember what his name was. He had a weird O name. But Hutchinson's never played where he's had defensive linemen that could collapse the pocket. Would you say, does your mother saw? LOL. I don't know. Backstroke in the hotel pool. Oh, I missed all these comments. I guess I didn't go back up high enough. That's fun. Thank you, guys. I didn't know if anybody was even hearing my impressions. I wanted to put an Arnold Schwarzenegger impression in here because I forgot. It's like John Connor. John Connor is a sophisticated machine from the future. He's on my fantasy football team. John Connor, you need to have a better game, so I must go back in time until you have a good game. I must protect you. I'm a futuristic robot. Come on. Do not let John Connor down. Oh, it's James Conner. My bad. Yeah, you got to stop James Conner. But that's what the Lions are built for. These guys playing to our strength. I think that we're mad and isolated. They'd mentioned something about like the first two games, you're bringing your friends in town to see the game, and you got, you might be sidetracked. There's no excuse, but Dan Campbell alluded to in his press conference to the benefit of going out on the road, especially after having two emotional games, and that way it's just you, your team, and versus the world. And the Lions, I think they thrive in this kind of moment. They haven't lost two games in a row since like October of 22, and that's crazy to think. This team is incredibly resilient. I expect them to win this game. I expect them to win this game because that's just what they're built for in this. And Arizona's, they're flying high. They were supposed to be the worst team in the league, and then having an emotional win against an interdivision game. Those division games are all weird. It's hard for me to count division games because it doesn't matter the records. I mean, look at these battles that we have with the Chicago Bears. It's like everybody beats on them, and then they always come in, and it's like against division opponents, it seems like the Lions getting these knockdown dragouts. Even Minnesota last year. Minnesota being depleted doesn't matter if you got Nick Mullins, it's a division game. Offenses and defenses that know each other. And that's what I think that you had last week with Kyler Murray against Matt Stafford. You got your full-on team, getting a chance to go up against a division opponent, with a depleted roster. You smell that blood in the water. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to get out there and you want to get after them. There's no the worst thing that you could do is lose to that team. I mean, you're going to lose to a team. I mean, that's part of the embarrassment, for Lion fan. Losing to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Oh, well, they were missing their best safety in the world. Well, the next man up in that situation played just as good. And that's the thing. Is like casual NFL fan, they understand who the starters are on most teams. And I'll give we'll set that as the parameter. The casual NFL fan, in my opinion, is somebody that understands the starters of all the teams that they're going to face. They're going to understand who the playmakers are, but they're not going to understand much of the depth. You're not going to, you're not like, you don't know that guy behind in Tampa Bay was, he might have been there for the last 3 years, just like the practice squad guys. It's next man up. How confident are you in your next man up? Like, I know a lot about the Lions and their next man up, and I feel confident knowing that the guy that doesn't have a name is going to step up. If Alex Anzalone doesn't play, I mean, if you're a true, diehard Lion fan like I am, then you're almost anxious to see what Jack Campbell can do calling the plays, because that's what you drafted him for. The Lions have that type of stuff happening all over the place. There's going to be this time where Jack Campbell is going to lead this defense. It's just a matter of time. Now Alex Anzalone put in that middle linebacker position when he's calling the plays and he's out there like that, the defense makes it funnels people to the middle linebacker, and the linebacker's got to make the play. So if Jack Campbell is leading that defense, then he's probably going to have the stats. He's going to make a lot of 10 plus tackles from the middle linebacker position because that's the way our defense works. So I'm excited to see the next man up, right? And with like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, their next man up was they play that defense. That defense has been a monster for years. Todd Bowles plays a certain way, right? And then the Rams the same way. They were able to trade their best linebacker because they didn't want to pay him all the money because they knew the next man up was going to be fine. You don't trade your star linebacker unless you're confident that the next man up is gonna do it. That's supposedly a Super Bowl contending team in the Rams before all these injuries hit. So I feel great about a lot of the spots with the next man up. Because when you think about it, Ennis Rakestraw is injured right now for the Lions, but that's like a guy that, when next year when Carlton Davis is asking for a contract, you're going to ask the question, do we pay Carlton Davis for another year? Or do we just move on with Ennis Rakestraw and Terrion Arnold? The plan. One thing that you can say as a Lion fan is there is a clear and concise plan for the now to where this is a Super Bowl contending team and beyond. From now and beyond. And you can see that plan unfolding before your very eyes. Carlton Davis is part of the Super Bowl plan. I don't think that Carlton Davis is part of the future plan. And Brad Holmes has just done such a good job at building the now while building the future at the same time. And there's these transitions that are going to happen, right? When Alex Anzalone was brought here in 2021 to install the defense, and he's played way above, I think, that where they expected. And when you drafted Jack Campbell, they drafted Jack Campbell to play the position that Alex Anzalone plays. Even though Campbell is starting and he's out there, but they have him in the middle. And at some point in time, Jack Campbell is going to take that job. And I think, and I predicted at the beginning of this season that it would be around game 9. A year and a half. That Jack Campbell is a learning processing computer. This guy plays linebacker like that. And you can just see that this guy is going to he's like a supercomputer that hasn't been set up yet. And you gotta load the software in there, but he's gonna be a machine for years to come. His length, his speed, his athleticism, he's already a demon at stopping the run. So could this be the time? Is Jack Campbell about ready to take over? Well, we don't know. We're wondering if Alex Anzalone is going to clear that concussion protocol. But this is the Lion Villain Report brought to you by NFL Shop Affiliate Marketing Partners. Use the QR code to use the villain link. And thank you for supporting the page. As we are talking about the Arizona Cardinals, our enemy. Know thy enemy. Because I think that it's important that we understand who the hell we're playing. And what is your biggest concern out there? I got a few more minutes right here. So it's your the Christopher Walken from Joe Dirt. Yes. You know what I'm referencing out there with Christopher Walken. This he's the kind of guy that likes lions. If you've ever seen the movie, I can't think of what the movie is called, Kings of New York or something. I can't remember the name of it. With the movie where he's talking in the pool, it's like it's a lion. It's a king of the jungle. It's a huge man out there. He's lying under the tree in the middle of Africa. He's so hot. So big. And the other animals come over and they start messing with him. Biting on his tail. Nibbling at his ears. And the lion doesn't do nothing. And then the lionesses come over. Start coming over, making trouble. And the other animals, they notice this. And the jackals, they notice this. The Packers and the Vikings, they notice this. And they start to move in. Closer and closer. And they get bolder and bolder. And closer. And they eat the food that's in the lion's domain. And then one day, that lion gets up and tears the living shit out of everything. Runs like the wind, eats everything in his path. Because every once in a while, the lions have to show the Packers and the Vikings and the Bears who he is. I can't remember the name of the movie. If you can quote that one, help me out, Corey. Is it? I'm sorry if my Christopher Walken is bad. I can continue to work on it because the important thing when doing Christopher Walken is that you pause in spots where they don't think you're gonna pause. Oh, Kings of New York. Okay, I was right on that. That was the Kings of New York one right there. I love Christopher Walken. He's one of my favorite characters of all time. And you can expect more of that. I've been entertaining some ideas for the future right here because I don't want to be like everybody else that's out there. You can see these beautiful guitars behind me. I might use some of these guitars. I was thinking about making up songs, kind of like the rock show, you know, the rock show where I can, you know, make fun of Goldberg or I can make fun of the next opponent. And I thought about doing that. I gotta put my head around it, but that might be a segment that I'm gonna add sooner than later. All right, for the people that are still watching, this being the Lion Villain Report, if you want to support what we're doing, you own a business, you want to sponsor this program and be in that nice little clever spot that the NFL shop is in right now, here's Main Event Mike.
Hey, Main Event Mike from Villain Squad Network. You know, here at the Villain Squad, we love football. We love football and we love the Lions. We are a collection of artists, entertainers, and marketing professionals. And every day we create and share fan-based content to a massive audience. That's 365 days a year. Our content generates tens of thousands of engagements, comments, and shares. We currently produce 7 live shows per week. These shows get thousands of live views, and then when the show is recorded, that recorded version gets posted to the page, and is shared across multiple platforms and gets even more views. This presents a unique marketing opportunity for businesses that may want to spend some money and advertise on the internet. I'm Main Event Mike from the Villain Squad. Call me today, 810-620-2167. Leverage the power of the villain for your business and be guilty by association. One pride.
The beautiful thing. I think I told Mike that he did such a good job with that. Guilty by association right there. And if you want to be involved, I don't know, we're going to continue to be able to do these things. We have 7 live shows, and it's really cool. I love our audience of people. I love our regulars that are in here. And I appreciate good football conversation. Like, we have our segments. We want to have a segment every week on every show that you guys can get behind, like we do the PFF Tuesdays, right? We're going to do the fantasy football stuff on Fridays. We do our lock picks on Thursdays, Mondays, the review preview, and we're going to bring back the roast posts. We're going to bring back roast posts because I think that's a clever way. I want to find the cleverest roast posts that are out there for every team, even the Lions. We got to be able to make fun of ourselves. So, if you want to be involved, you want to be one of the villains. The other way that you can do it too is like Elise Memes right here. I mean, we have a massive audience, and if you're a content creator, there's a possibility that we could make you one of the moderators of the page, and we could help you like we do with Elise Memes and Steven, that, he's got his photography page right there. And we want to be able to support, this is a community of people. This isn't about Michael. This isn't about me. We want to be able to use this page and leverage this page to, be able to help people either start their careers, or in my wife's case, like, we want to be able to create autism awareness that's out there, where you can support this page based off of the STARS program. So 100% of our STARS program is going to go to my wife's page so she can continue to be an advocate for autism awareness. So faith, family, then football. It's important that we stay there. We gotta keep our fellow man, in the front of our sights and not the back of our sights. Faith, family, and then football. This is just a Lions fan page right here. We aren't trying to be better than anybody, or we want to have good quality content on here. But at the end of the day, we want to use this page to help. I mean, it sounds cliche, but to make the world better. If our fandom of the Detroit Lions can be used to do something good, isn't that better? Isn't it better that we can use it to take care of our fellow man in one way, or maybe create opportunities to go to games with fathers and sons? Those are the long-term goals as far as the page goes and how we want to roll forward. We do want to we want to give away tickets to the game. That's what part of the sponsorship is going to do. Obviously we want to go to the game because we create content from the game, and we get to meet people that are Detroit Lions fans that we can put on the page. But we also want to create opportunities for fathers. And I'm not excluding mothers, but there's a lot of people that support mothers out there. There's plenty of support for moms. As a matter of fact, my wife is the ultimate supporter of moms, especially moms with kids with special needs. But from the man side right here, fathers are so important. And if you have that business and you want to support this page, just know that we want to create opportunities for fathers to take their kids to the football game. Maybe some fathers that want to take their kids that might not be able to afford it. I mean, who can? I can't afford it. But it's the only reason I get to go to the games, you know. Darcy, thank you for allowing us to be in your spot, Darcy, and go to the game last week. Mike and I are from Flint. You know, we're just fans. And it's faith, family, then football, because I believe that the greater good happens. You know, that in the end, there is going to be the greater good. And I want to contribute to the greater good. I don't want to say that I'm contributing to the chaos or that I'm contributing to all the negativity that's in the world. There's plenty of that. You can find that anywhere else, not here. We don't want to hit that. The only negativity that we want on this program is the trolling. Let's get some healthy trolling in there. Your team sucks. We don't like the Bears. You're trash. Packers are trash. You know? And then they can come back at us and be like, you haven't won anything since 1957. And they come back and it's healthy. It's healthy like that. But faith, family, and then football. In that order. We use football. Spend time with our family. We don't let football use us. Use football to create memories with your family. Don't let football use you. Tomorrow we're going to be doing the Villain Cast. We're going to be reacting to the game live, Mike and I. Live right here. I just realized I haven't made a piece of media for that yet. I'll have to get that out today. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're Lion fans. And when you do, put right, took care of that thing for you. Put that in the comments after you subscribe to the YouTube channel. This is the Lion Villain Report. You can join me 5 days a week, 6 days a week. Not 5, 6. We added the Saturday. This is the Know Thy Enemy segment. You can join me at 10 a.m. every day. You can join Michael, Main Event Mike, every Monday night at 7 p.m. doing his thing. Faith, family, then football. I'm going to close you guys out right here, man. I've had a lot of fun today. Brent says, yeah, I missed it again. I'm sorry, man. That's all right. That's all right. We're going to do that. But I'm going to leave you the way that I love to leave you right here because, you know, I love all of you. I want the best. I want you to reach your goals. I want you to work hard and get everything that's coming to you in life. And may the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again. And that'll be tomorrow for the Villain Cast. Lions playing in Arizona. God bless you guys. We'll see you soon. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, shut up, dumbass.